What's up, everybody? Welcome to After the Final Whistle, football talk with Jon and Montel.
All right, this is episode 2. My name is Montel, and we have our other host, Jon.
Hello, everyone. John here. Hope everyone's having a good day.
So I see, same schedule as last week. We're probably going to follow a real similar format as last week. John's got the injury report. You want to take that away?
Uh, sure thing, man. So I'm going to start it off. Tua cannot seem to catch a break. Some fractured ribs for him. And then that Niners running back field's starting to have echoes of the Ravens. What are your thoughts on it?
Man, I just hope the guy I grabbed off waivers for our fantasy league doesn't get hurt too. Uh, I think they had the injury bug last year, so hopefully it doesn't bite them quite as bad as what it did the Ravens. But yeah, I mean they're hurting at the skill position for sure. On top of that, some of their weapons they don't even use. So I really don't understand the problem in San Francisco. But yeah, definitely interesting. They're dealing with as many injuries in their backfield as what they are.
Yeah, that is and pretty crazy. And then switching over to the Steelers, I mean, you got Big Ben with a heck issue on his throwing side. I think he's been limited in practice, and then you've had Deontay Johnson go down with a knee issue right at the end of the game. Hasn't practiced all week so far. And then another
He's the
person who can't.
he's the number one or number two in Pittsburgh, right? No, or
Uh,
is the number one probably? I guess for most people's eyes.
yeah, he's number one. He's the one that's taking all the targets. So tough break, but hopefully he'll bounce back pretty quick. Doesn't seem like it's a tear of anything, just a knee bruise or something. And then another person who can't seem to catch a break is Tyrod. He went down last week with that hamstring injury, so Davis Mills is getting the start Thursday night.
Man, I don't know how to feel for Tyrod, man. It's like he gets a starting job somewhere, and then there's a young quarterback in waiting, just like waiting for him to screw up or get hurt. It happened in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. Happened last year in San Diego. Not San Diego, Los Angeles now. Chargers with Justin Herbert. And I don't even know the quarterback, like the backup quarterback's name for Houston. I'm sure I think it's something Mills, but I, how do you have this kind of luck, like on 3 consecutive teams in the same exact way? It just blows my mind that he's. I don't want to say getting screwed over, but it's crap's happened to him so often. Dude is just he's a dog on the field. I mean, he's a pro's pro from what I understand. All of his teammates always love him, but yeah, like you said, he just can't catch a break.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can't catch a break. I mean, Texans were looking pretty tough, even with the limited amount of talent on that team with him at the helm of that offense. But I mean, he's a professional, like you said. He just handles everything with grace, no matter how crappy things get for him.
Right? Says a lot. I mean, that's some players tend to be divas, so I don't think that's the case for Tyrod. I mean, I think they actually lost the game today. It is Thursday, September 23rd at about 10:50, and I think the final score was 24-9. So I nothing like did anything besides kick field goals. So I think they might have missed them today.
Sure sounds that way.
Yeah, I guess for me, I got some news from around the league. Me and you both being fans of some NFC North teams. Uh, Justin Fields going to make his first start Sunday. Uh, they've had some packages, I guess, for him, and he's thrown for a couple yards. But I guess Dalton got hurt last game, and I really wish Minnesota would have got up and got him. Nothing against who they pick. I haven't seen the guy play there, so we talked about it last week. He's still dealing with the groin, but they apparently lowballed every team in the top 10 and couldn't get up from, I think they were drafting at 14 from to pick up Fields. But I think he's got
Yeah,
like a chip on his shoulder and like a point to prove. So, hopefully he doesn't torch our teams too bad in the coming years. So, what are your thoughts on that as a Packers fan?
yeah. I mean, that's one injury that I forgot to mention. I think Andy Dalton has a knee bruise as well. Um, so Justin is getting that start. He took over last week during the game. He looked okay, made a lot of good plays, but also a lot of rookie plays. Um, Going up against the Browns, not the most terrifying defense, but not one that you can just run all over either. So
Right.
I
I
feel
mean,
like
you got to look out for that helmet uppercut. That Myles Garrett likes to throw about your biggest fear.
exactly. Um, I feel like give him some time. I mean, Matt Nagy always playing the magician of if healthy, Andy Dalton's our quarterback. But I mean, I think it's Justin Fields' job to keep.
I can see that. I mean, not to say that Andy's going to have as bad of luck as what Tyrod has, but um, yeah, I think if Fields puts up good numbers, he'll probably be in the same boat as what Herbert was last year. Starter goes down, and how do you take out the rookie who's out there balling, making plays? It just doesn't make sense to do it. So, yeah, like you said, his thing to lose, and I don't think Andy Dalton is like a competent starting quarterback. What is he in year 11 or 12? He's starting to age a little bit. So.
Yeah, not nearly the same as he was when he was on the Bengals. And plus, Matt Nagy probably on the hot seat this season, already off to an 0-2 start. So if your rookie's out there balling and you're winning games, why would you mess that up?
Right. Let NFC North teams coaches of those teams on the hot seat, but maybe we'll say that for like week 15, 16, and we'll see how that goes. Uh, I guess another report from this week is PFT, which is Pro Football Talk. They have a official report from the NFL that I guess they have a source there that says that the NFL has no plans to change the taunting rules, and some of them are just like outright dumb. Like I don't understand. I'll just say Aaron Jones. Well, if Aaron Jones makes a big play, why can't he spin the ball on the ground or flick it to the official without getting flagged? It seems like they're kind of over officiating, and I think Bobby Wagner actually tweeted something similar. He said it seems a little unnatural to try and regulate emotion. I don't know if you've seen any games or anything where they. I think it's over officiating. It just seems stupid not let guys celebrate good plays. What about yourself?
I'm right there with you. I mean, just go back to the preseason when that rookie Colts running back drug like 8 players on defense. I mean, and then you get fined as well as penalized for it. I
How can
mean,
you not be excited though? You literally just carry the entire defense into the end zone. Like, why wouldn't you be excited for that?
exactly. I mean, and then like you have a big play on defense, you have a big play on offense. I mean, you want to get hyped. You want to get your team hyped. I mean, we'll see if it throughout the season if they call it less and less. I know right now it's a focus, and as much as it's taking a lot of the fun out of the league, I mean, maybe
I mean,
maybe
NFL
next
does for the no fun league.
yeah maybe next season they'll reevaluate this taunting penalty. But I know this season we're just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, I know. I was reading when I was doing research for the podcast that I think there's like 18 different people that are on like the competition committee. Uh, Only one of those players is like an active NFL player. It's like an NFLPA president. So how do you sit in the room with a bunch of uh, shirts, or suits, I should say, and make a decision like that with there being one active NFL player. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I don't get paid to make those kind of calls, but it just seems kind of dumb. I guess another. We had some interest in those odd, funny stories last week. Here's another one. Urban Meyer was talking to Vic Fangio. I think he's the head coach for the Broncos. He said that he's shocked at how difficult it is to coach in the NFL. He compared every game to playing Alabama. Urban Meyer was a coach at Florida. Around the time Tebow was there, 2009, 2011, somewhere in there. Won a national championship, and his hurdle every year was getting over Alabama. He said a lot of the players play. Um, I guess my question for that kind of comment is like, dude, what did you think? I mean, these dudes are multi-million-dollar athletes getting paid to play the game. I was a decent football player, but I am no way going to be willing to deal with some of these dudes that are in the league now. Aaron Donald, no man, he's a problem. I'm cool.
Right. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's the National Football League. It's the top tier athletes in the league or in football. I mean, so yeah, it's going to be playing like Alabama every year. I mean, I don't know if he's going to stick around after this season. We'll see.
One and done?
We'll see. I mean, if he's already complaining and already losing, he doesn't like to lose. He's going to probably bow out. I mean, do you think he's going to stick around if they go 0-17?
I mean, my honest opinion is it's Jacksonville, and they'll probably go 0-17 at this rate. But I think they'll give him a couple of seasons to try to turn it around. Or when he was at I think it was Ohio State, he actually just kind of stepped away from the team. So I think if he has a couple seasons, where it's more losses than wins, or not even close, and they're drafted in the top half of the draft, I guess top 4 picks, I guess I should say, not top half. I think he'll probably take a gracious exit instead of letting himself get fired.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling and thinking about it too. He might give it one more year after this because I mean they are in a rebuild year, but
every year.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Every year it seems like the Jags are in a rebuild year.
It was Cleveland for a long time, and it's been the Jags for longer. So it's, I think, a meme at this, like a comical meme at this point. I guess my next story here is Daniel Carlson for the Los Angeles Raiders was giving the AFC Special Team Player of the Week, and it doesn't really seem like much of a story, but I'm going to rant here a little bit about the Vikings. He played for the Vikings, I think, for 2 games. Went 1 for 4. They cut him. Since he's been cut, he's 75 of 88. That's 88%. The Vikings lost their game on a missed 37-yard field goal. Daniel Carlson from 30 yards to 39 yards, he's 18 to 19. So I think if they give this kid a chance, they probably win that game. But I tried to sneak it in there. It's comical that the second kicker that they picked up was a guy from the Bucs practice squad who wasn't even good enough to play in a game, but is somehow good enough to kick with their starting kicker. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on it. Just seems kind of meh to me. I'm kind of numb to them being 0-2 off losing from missed field goals. So maybe we should have gave the guy a chance.
Yeah, I feel like some teams are too quick on kickers. I mean, it's not the easiest job to have out there.
Kickers. Mike Zimmer literally hates kickers. I don't know. He probably changed his kickers like more times than he's probably wiped his ass. It's ridiculous. Like, I think, and he's been the coach since 2014. and he's had, I think, 6 kickers. He hates kickers or kickers hate playing for him. I don't know, but I'll leave it for another show. Go ahead. I'll leave it for another show later down the road.
Right. And I got one news segment myself. I forgot to mention it earlier. But back in, I think it was April, Aaron Jones lost his father, the Green Bay Packers running back, to COVID. So he was playing with a little black football with some of his dad's ashes and in it, wearing it as a necklace. And he lost it in the end zone during one of his like 4 touchdown runs or 4 touchdown production. And he was like, well, if I was going to lose it, that's where my dad would want to lose it. At 2:00 in the morning, the grounds field crew found it, put it in his locker for him. So when he came in the next morning, it was there for him. So, you know, a bad story, but also a happy ending.
Yeah, and I'll set the rivalry aside. Whoever that guy is that found that necklace, because what I understand, that guy didn't even leave. Like he stayed there until 2 in the morning looking for it. Yeah, and I know it might not seem like a lot to people, but you know, losing your father like that, and I know he wants to honor him this year. So I hope they figure out a way to make that chain a little more sturdy for him. I guess is my biggest want for that.
Yeah. Also, he had a lot of his family there, so you know, at least he still has people there, which I figured he did, but at the same time, here.
Right. Nobody wants to lose a family member, especially from a virus like we're dealing with right now. So that's a feel good story, man. If you're sad after listening to that, you probably need to check your pulse. It's that's a good thing. I don't know. A lot of people, obviously, a lot of people didn't stay. It just speaks to that groundkeeper's character that he stuck around so long to make a player happy.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah, cool. So I guess it's that time of the show. Fantasy football. How are we doing?
So in the Just for Fun League, I'm tired of losing every week by, I think I've lost both weeks by a combined score of less than a point. I lost this week 134.82 to 134.84. Like, come on, man. And then in the money league, I lost 130 to 136 because right before lineups locked, I made a change that I shouldn't have made. I was overthinking it. Should have just stuck with my lineup.
Yeah, and I think you may now have the same hatred that I have for New England running backs. I'll let everybody know I had Jonas Gray. I don't know, that was like 6 years ago, and I tweeted the guy and asked if he was gonna start the game. Never responded to me, by the way, but yeah, I had him the week he scored like 4 touchdowns and never touched another ball in the NFL. So hopefully you don't hate James White quite as much as I do Jonas Gray. But yeah, I know that's definitely frustrating playing fantasy and overthinking. It happens to me quite a bit too.
Right.
I guess
So how about you? How did your week turn out?
I'm a loser. Loser. I lost 124 to 132. The person I played had, I think, 3 of the highest scoring players for the week. And yeah, I just met projections again in the fun league. I lost 109. Looks like 160. You know, can't really do much when somebody's running back scores 42 points and their quarterback scores 40. So In the money league, I lost in that one too. Let me go. 126. My opponent also happened to have Derrick Henry, who in that league scored, I think, like 52 points because it's PPR. So let me look here. Nope, 47. He scored 47. Just, I just really wish I could quit playing, folks. They just have like these dumb lucky breaks. But 0-2, and all I can do is move on to next week.
Well, once again, I will try to redeem you as long as I don't beat myself.
So there was no redemption. I forgot. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that'll probably be an episode title, I guess, because or failed redemption maybe should be the name of the.
Uh,
That's all good. I guess moving on, we did some predictions from for some of the games last week. We're I guess gonna try and keep track. We might make a segment out of it. I don't know. We're still kind of thinking about it. As of this week, let's see. John got the winner of the Packers Lions game, but was off on the score. We both were off on the score, so we'll still count that as a win, I guess. And he didn't get the score of the Chiefs game, and also didn't get the right winner. So he's 1-1. So going in the week, I guess 3 of the season technically, he's 1-1. I went 2-0. I predicted the Seahawks would win. Sorry, the Seahawks would lose to the Titans 27-12. They lost 33-30. I said the Vikings would lose to Arizona 14-27. They lost 33-34. I'm not going to rant about that missed field goal again because I just feel like it's a triggering moment, I guess, for me. Let's see. I guess our next part. Well, sorry, I won't move on to that yet. What are you thinking? What do you think about those predictions, John? You think the Chiefs kind of hosed you there, kind of towards the end, where I think they had a lead up until like the last like quarter, didn't they?
yeah, they had a lead, and then Lamar's like, I'm done losing to the Chiefs, and he took that team on his back and won it for him. So, I mean, I think up until then he was 0-4 against them. So, congrats to him for his first win. But, you know, I was not expecting the Ravens with them being short of a few weapons on offense to be able to keep up with that high-powered Chiefs offense.
Dude, they're short on everything. Offense, they're missing linemen, corners, defense, and they're missing linemen, offensive line, missing a lot. Uh, yeah, I honestly, I was right there with you. I thought the Chiefs would probably pull that out. Um, I know anytime that Mahomes and him get together, it's usually a shootout. So uh, I I didn't think they'd score more than 28 though, like you said, with all those folks being out. Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it, but it sounds like a hell of a game when the game is 35-36.
Right.
So we'll I guess we'll talk about some of the scores from some other games that we didn't predict. So Panthers beat the Saints 26-7. Raiders beat the Steelers 26-17, and the 49ers beat the Eagles 17-11. I want to talk about this Panthers Saints game a little bit. So you're telling me that the Saints played Green Bay and beat them like that, but they can't put up more than 7 against the Panthers? That we were talking about a potential like dark horse MVP candidate for Jameis. I guess not if you put up 7 against the Panthers. I mean, granted, I guess they're much improved under Matt Rule, but 7 points, it was an onslaught the week before. So it just seems odd that they couldn't
Well,
do much.
my thing is, was it the Saints on Jameis' side or the Panthers defense? Because I mean, like, even Alvin Kamara did nothing against that Panthers defense. Like
I
absolutely
I
nothing.
don't know. Yeah, let's see. He had, I think, like less than 100 yards rushing. He had
I don't.
5 rushing yards. Yeah, 5 rushing yards on 8 carries, 0.6 yards a carry. I know they spent a lot of like draft capital on that defensive line. One guy that comes to mind is I think his name's Derek Brown out of Auburn. He's a big boy. He's like 6'4", like 360 or 70 pounds, and moves like a dancing bear. So yeah, they've got some capital invested on the defense, but yeah, I figured with Marshawn Lattimore signing that big contract, they still got Cam Jordan. The Saints do. They've got a couple good safeties. I just especially with the quarterback being Sam Darnold. I honest to God, I thought he was washed because of how bad he was in New York, but he I'm not saying he's like Brady or Rodgers by any stretch of the imagination, but the kid's looking pretty damn good with the new coach. That seems to run more than like crossing routes and slants. So I don't know, but we'll see. I don't think he can't really qualify for any other award. So um, if he wins MVP, I think that would be absolutely hilarious and probably the most Jets thing to ever happen.
Well, I look at it like this. I mean, he gets out of New York, out from Adam Gase. I mean, same
Gase
thing
is
happened
terrible.
with Ryan Tannehill too,
Yeah,
if you think
Gase is a
about it.
freaking moron. Tannehill goes to freaking Tennessee and signs like a $82 million contract or something like that after his first season because he's not terrible. Gase is just a terrible coach. Hope they let him go. He needs to. He should have never. I think he was a coordinator somewhere. He should have never left that coordinator role. Uh, what do you
Yeah,
think
and
about? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
and that kind of goes back to what I was talking about last week when we were talking about the Packers Saints game. I mean, Packers didn't play anyone at all during preseason, none of their starters. So to them, that was like their fourth preseason game.
Yeah, I get it, but man, I just if he wins MVP, I don't know. Maybe I'll eat a stick of butter and like live stream it or something. I don't. I didn't think he was very good, but I guess it had a lot to do with Gase more so than him being terrible. So
Right.
I guess I guess my next question is well, not question, but next comment. Did you expect the Raiders to be 2-0? They beat the Steelers.
And in week one, they beat the Ravens. So
I just I'm speechless. I pictured the Raiders as probably getting like the fourth or fifth overall pick again, and then Gruden getting the axe like 4 years into that 10-year, $100 million contract he signed. But he's got these dudes showing up ready to play. I mean, it's not like the Ravens and Steelers are scrubs. Those are usually going to be some teams that make a decent run in the playoffs, and I mean they beat them already. So there's I'd be interested to see if they could beat Kansas City as well because those are probably the biggest hurdles in the AFC this year.
them and Buffalo, if they can beat or at least show up against Kansas City and Buffalo, then we might have to be talking about the Raiders making it to the playoffs. And if they keep playing the
I,
way they're playing, going to the Super Bowl. I mean, my question to you right now: are the Panthers and Raiders 2 weeks in legit?
um, that's a hell of a question. I mean, I think they're doing much better than what their projection was for the season. I don't exactly know if they're legit. It's kind of like you're saying, a lot of these teams didn't play their starters or anything, and some teams are still getting warmed up. I think that's probably a question that'll be answered probably by week like 5 or 6. If they're sitting at 5-0, and honestly, the first two games are already kind of like a mini buzz, so I haven't checked their schedule. So I can't imagine it gets much more difficult going down the stretch when you've already beat what 2/7 of the freaking playoffs already for the Raiders. The Panthers did the same. I don't know who did they play week 1. Do you know?
I think they played the Jets, so I mean, take that one with a grain of salt. But going up against New Orleans, which is typically a high-powered offense, and hell, even holding Alvin Kamara to 5 yards.
Yeah, I'm pissed about that. He's on my fantasy team. A little salty, but like I said last week, I'll get over it. Let's see that.
Yeah.
49.
So I mean, these are.
Oh no, go ahead. I was gonna say,
Oh,
what does he have? Like
yeah. I was just
less
gonna
than
say.
a season.
Yeah, I was just gonna say these are two teams we're gonna have to keep an eye on throughout the season. I mean, if they keep playing the way they're playing, I mean, both quarterbacks look good, both defenses are solid. So just keep an eye on them, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch any of the highlights, but you think it was more for the Raiders down set. There's Waller. Throw it. Oh, no, not open. Too bad. I don't know. I mean, you put up.
Honestly, no. I was watching that game. The Steelers were double teaming him the entire game, so Derek Carr had to go to everyone else, and I mean, everyone else was picking up because Waller was basically taken out like
Didn't
the
he?
fourth
He throw a
quarter.
dime. Didn't he throw like a dime to Ruggs, like a 60-yard bomb or something?
Yeah, Ruggs just ran past everybody.
I mean, he runs a 4.3. A lot of those Alabama dudes tend to do that when they get to the league.
Right. Like Urban said, it's like playing against Alabama every week.
Yeah, when literally everybody on their offense gets drafted every year, same with their defense. I see where he's coming from, but he still sounds like an idiot. I guess moving on, the
Right.
last game to talk about is the 49ers Eagles. My question is, what kind of ugly ass like 1950s NFL score is that? 17-11. Uh, I don't even know what combination of things will get you 11. Is it 3 field goals and a safety, or maybe like a interception on like a 2-point play that goes for 99 yards? I watched a lot
I'm
of it.
not sure. I didn't watch any of it, didn't catch the highlights, so I'm not sure. But I mean, honestly, Eagles probably could have walked away with that win. So I was hearing that they were keeping the Niners in check pretty much all game. And then I read that like Jalen Hurts ran for like 80 yards, no touchdowns.
Yeah,
So, and
I think he got close and had one. Uh, I don't want to say got called back, but I don't think they ruled it a touchdown. And I think he missed I guess a Philly special. They ran the Philly special, and he wasn't quite open enough, so they threw it out of the end zone. So they had some opportunities to win for sure, but yeah, I'd have to look at how they actually got that score. I started watching this game when it was already 17-11, and the Eagles were driving. So
yeah, interesting fact. I think Jalen Hurts was the 10th ranked quarterback in fantasy this week. And to put that
mhm.
in perspective, Justin Herbert threw for like 300 yards, no touchdowns, and it was like 20.
Yeah, he's on my team too. I'm hurt. Might need to drop him. But yeah, I think a lot of people like wrote Hurts off last year. I mean, I guess kind of like Tyrod. He got hurt a couple years ago when he was in Alabama. Tua took over for him, and he never got his starting spot back. Then he goes to OU, and he takes him on a playoff run. So I think the kid can ball. I mean, uh, he's got some talent. He fits that Philly offense. They run a lot of that not wide zone, but read option and RPO. So I think he's a perfect fit for that. He's run nothing but that system for like the last 6 years. So
Yeah, and then on top of that, I think I read in training camp he'd be like stopping wide receivers in the hallway, asking them what they would do if this play was called. So he's got that leadership capability too. So get him
yeah,
a little bit more weapons, a little bit more protection, and I think Eagles next year or two are going to be someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and from what I've read, all his teammates, kind of like you're saying, seem to love the dude, man. And a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, they can play, but it takes a special somebody to bring the team together. Like Russell Wilson, right? That team legit believes the game is not over until Russell Wilson says it's over. Where, for instance, I'll say the Vikings. Kirk's a decent quarterback, but nobody's gonna flock to Kirk to rally the troops. He's just not that guy. And I think Hurts has a lot more of Russell Wilson in him than I guess the Kirk Cousins. So
yeah, I feel like people would flock to Dalvin Cook in Minnesota to try to win the game. Game's not over until Dalvin says it's over, because the offense runs through Dalvin.
Yeah, so it's not over till he says it's over, or he fumbles the ball with his ass on the ground. But I'm not a bitter fan at all, by the way.
I couldn't tell.
Leave me be. Leave me be. Let me enjoy my 2-0-2 fantasy teams. My NFL team being 0-2. Let me enjoy it. All right, I guess we'll move on to we're going to do predictions again. We're going to take another shot at this. So, John, go ahead and let's get your games, and then let's get your predictions for those games.
Okay. So I have Chargers and Chiefs. I'm going to say Chargers are going to pull this one out. I don't know what the over-under is, so I didn't keep an eye on that, but I'm going to say it's going to be 33-24. And then
I could see it.
Colts, Titans. I'm going to say Titans win this one. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, so I'm going to say like 24-17. Well, no, I'm going to say 24-10. I forgot Wentz might be out because he sprained both of his ankles. Like how do you sprain both ankles on one play?
The dude is made of glass. I'm pretty sure if you sneeze on him, you tear his ACL.
Yeah, so the Colts are planning to play Brett Hundley and Jacob Eason, I'm hearing. So they're preparing.
You know a little bit about
Wentz.
Huntley.
I would probably put Eason over Hundley, to be honest. See what you have there. But I mean, I get that Hundley has the experience, so I feel like the Titans defense is going to shut down the Colts offense. And then Derrick Henry in the second half.
Yeah, I can't believe I said what I said last week about him getting 150 yards and like 2 touchdowns. I literally put my foot in my mouth. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna. He's 6'4", 260, runs like a 4.4. I'd give him the ball 50 times a game too if I was the coach.
Yeah, and I think Darius Leonard was a non-participant in practice today, so basically the linebacker is potentially out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you think anybody else on that defense want to hit him? Like Leonard's name is the Psycho, not scared of anybody. So I don't think anybody else on that defense would, or I guess beyond the front seven, wants to hit Derrick Henry because he's going to be probably not getting touched until he gets to the secondary for most of that game. So
right. And then my last game here is Packers versus Niners. Man, this one's hard to predict because, I mean, I could see it going either way, but I want to go ahead and say Packers win it. I want to say it's going to be 24-21.
I can see that. I mean, two teams that have played in the NFC Championship game here recently. Green Bay a couple more times than the 49ers. So I could see that. I know the 49ers, like I said, they're Their offense, they have weapons. Backfield's hurt, but they don't really throw the ball or use any of their like weapons outside. So I think that'll
Yeah.
probably be their downfall. The Packers got they have a good corner, Jair Alexander. I think he's personally blowing me into that shutdown territory. So yeah, I take away the number one option. They'll stack the box against the run, and I think the Packers will win that one.
Right. And then Eric Stokes broke up a lot of passes, 2 or 3 passes thrown his way towards the end of that game against the
Yeah,
Lions last
safety
week.
corner.
He's the cornerback, so
Corner. Okay.
their number one draft pick out of this year's draft.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You put Jair on number, Debo more than likely. You put Stokes on Ayuk because I mean, all those running back injuries, they're probably going to run through the air, little screens
Right.
and dump offs and all of that.
Me and you could go cover Ayuk at this point. They ain't gonna throw him the ball. It doesn't seem like so.
Right.
Just I don't know, dude's like 6'3", has like a 40-inch vertical. Let's not throw him the ball. But Shanahan gets paid big bucks to, I guess, waste talent. So yeah, you got anything else on the Packers 49ers or?
No, I mean, definitely going to need to get more people involved on that offense. It can't just run through Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. As much as it pains me to say that they're both great players, but I mean, we need to get at least one more playmaker. I know Rodgers missed on Valdez Scantling 34 times, just barely on some long balls against the Lions. So hopefully that'll pan out.
Got to show up for practice. Just show up for practice.
Exactly.
All right. I guess the games I have about the same. They're interesting matchups for the week. Bucks and Rams. I think the Bucks probably have a decent enough O line to not have to deal with Aaron Donald living in their backfield. But Matt Stafford, he's a good quarterback, man. He's just in a bad situation in Detroit. I think the Bucks probably pull this one out. It'll probably be a shootout with Brady and Stafford. So I'm going to say it'll be 38-35. Bucks, sorry, 33.
I could see that. Do you think Antonio's going to play? I mean, I know he's got to get 2 negative tests 24 hours apart.
Yeah, I don't think you will, but honestly, they have two of the top, I'll say 15 receivers in the league anyway, so I don't think they'll really miss him too much. I mean, granted, he did have a touchdown or whatever where he made an audible, and Brady just kind of like pump faked, and then he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he threw him a touchdown. So I don't think they'll miss a touchdown in this game. He's got Gronk, he's got Mike Evans, he has Chris Godwin, he's got two good running backs. He's got Leonard Fournette and I forget the other guy's name, Ronald Jones. So I think they have more than enough weapons for this game to, even if he wasn't healthy, they'd be okay in it. They can match that Rams firepower. So this the next one I've got is Eagles Cowboys. Not a fan of the NFC East at all. But I'm gonna say the Cowboys looking good. Like I said last week, I do enjoy a good comeback story. I think the Eagles take another tough loss in this one. I'll say Cowboys win 24-21.
I can see that. And hopefully this will be a get right game for Zeke because your backup running back, less carries, more yards. It's a tough pill to swallow if you're Zeke.
Yeah, I mean, they paid him. You know, it's on Jerry for paying him that stupid amount. I guess the same can be said for the Vikings. They paid Dalvin, but Dalvin hasn't hit the same wall that it looks like Zeke has. So I don't know if it'll be a get right game per se, but I think Zeke probably has uh, I'll say 15 to 20 carries and sniffing 100 yards, if not just over it.
Yeah, one thing that I don't get, and maybe it's just me wanting more because he's on my fantasy team, but they're not even looking for him in the passing game. He's running routes, not even getting looked at. But when Pollard's out there, it seems like he's getting the ball thrown his way more frequently than they're throwing to Zeke. So we'll see how that plays out throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, I know Pollard is a little more, I guess, shifty, whereas Zeke's more of a downhill runner that can make a guy or two miss. Not to say Pollard is better than Zeke historically, but I think you've got your standard workhorse, and then you've got your change of pace guy that can catch. I think that may be what Dak sees in him. So might have to be a Cowboys fan on here to tell us what they think about that. I guess my last game I have Seahawks Vikings. I think the Seahawks are 1-1. Vikings are 0-2. They both lost games in disappointing fashions last week. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they said that Russell Wilson is Kyler Murray with a PhD. So as much as this one, he's been doing it a long time, man. The Vikings can never ever contain him. And he's got that moonball going to one of my former teammates, Tyler Lockett, where it's just like a 60, 70-yard bomb, and he scored like 3 touchdowns off of it this year. Our secondary gave up a ball to what's his name from the Bengals, Jamar Chase, and then we gave up one last week to Rondale Moore. So I think the Seahawks probably win this one 31-24. And then the Vikings fall to 0-3, and I find another team to root for.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, but isn't all the teams except for the Packers and the NFC North 0-2?
I believe they are. Let me look real quick. Look at standings, National Football Conference. Nope, Bears are 1-1, and the Vikings and Lions are 2. Yep. So
okay.
The Packers have a points for 38, points against 55. Bears have won 34-51. Interesting enough, the Vikings have a 57-61, so they're losing, but by like both super close margins. The Lions have a 50 points for and 76. So it looks like they're getting blown out in the games they played. So
yeah, I mean, but give the Lions credit. I mean, the 2 games I've kept an eye on, I mean, they're fighting all 4 quarters. So at least they're not giving up. They're attempting to keep themselves in the game, but with the amount of talent, I mean, the window for errors is extremely small on that team to stay in it.
Yeah, and it probably has a lot to do with Matt Patricia chasing like every single star player off the team. So I know a lot of people didn't like playing for him. So a lot of them requested trades, or they got cut, or just didn't get re-signed. So I think it's going to be more of the same with Detroit. They'll have a top 5 draft pick for a couple seasons, fire the coach, and rinse and repeat. So
yeah, I think Tyrell Williams just got put on injured reserve today, so he's out for at least 3 weeks, I believe.
Lineman.
He was their number 1 receiver. So they've been playing the games without their number 1 receiver the first 2 weeks, and he was just put on IR today.
So yeah, definitely more of the same. So that margin will probably get a little further.
Yeah, but give it up to Goff and Hawkinson and Swift and that offensive line, especially their first-round pick. I mean, He's looked pretty good so far.
Sewell,
Yeah.
he actually had one of the Bosa boys. Was it last week or this week?
Week 1 they played the Niners. They played the
Niners.
Packers.
No, he won more than he lost. I'll say that when they played when he was going 1-on-1 against I think it's Nick Bosa. He's the younger of the two. So
Yeah, Joey's on the Chargers. So yeah, it was Nick.
Nick. What else was I going to say about the? I was going to say a lot of people kind of wrote off Jared Goff, myself included. I don't think he's in like that same tier as Stafford, but yeah, like I said, hats off. I mean, he's hanging in there in a tough situation, so there's not really much more you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, last week he did throw a few, you know, ugly-looking passes. One of them did get picked off towards the end of the game, but it's just one of those
I don't think
things
it
where,
cost them probably out of it, weren't they?
yeah, I mean, they were up 17-14 at half. I mean, so you can imagine
Oh,
how I was feeling. But they
probably
didn't score
tough
again
pill
in
to
the second
swallow.
half. Oh, it was. It was. I was like, oh no, not again. This can't happen.
Anybody but Detroit. I swear, anybody but Detroit. That's probably what
But I
everybody in
mean,
North says on the schedule. Anybody but Detroit.
right. But I mean, look at it. I mean, they were getting blown out week 1 against the Niners, came back and lost by 7, 8. Had a good second half, and then they had a good
Yeah,
first half. So if they could just put a game together, I mean, I could see them winning 2, 3 games this year.
yeah. I was gonna say Dan Campbell. He's got them fighting, but he's got them fighting for losses. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's Detroit. I can't get too excited about Detroit, especially when there's nobody of note on their team to root for besides Goff, who was a discarded quarterback that uh, the Rams gave up more than what Matt Stafford is currently worth to get rid of Jared Goff. So
Yeah, I mean, give it up to the Lions coaching staff though. I was watching that game and they were all game long teaching and talking. So give it up to that staff. I mean, they got their team fighting, and it seems like the players are listening and taking it in, and so far overall liking the coaching staff. So that's only going to get better throughout the season, I'm sure.
yeah, I was gonna say better than what they had. So I guess yeah, that's pretty much it. You got anything else you want to cover, John, as far as news or anything like that? There wasn't really a ton to go on this week too. It's not a ton of like injury news or anything to cover. So
No, I think we covered most of the stuff that we wanted to cover. So until next week, everybody, you all take care.
appreciate y'all tuning in, man. So if you got any questions or maybe you want to be a guest or something on the show, let us know. I mean, you can leave us a voicemail. It's in the show notes of every show. Yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for listening.